Hello traders, welcome to this weekend's market analysis video. So first, let's quickly look into the news events going into next week. Monday, Wednesday, no major events to report. Tuesday, we got 9:45 a.m. Eastern, PMI. Thursday, unemployment claims 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And then a couple of medium events Tuesday, Friday, but nothing really major this week compared to the previous weeks we've had. So let's dive into ES longer term, and you can see we have officially closed below this very significant area right here of support resistance, pretty much between 66.38, 66.90, and we have officially closed through that area. So now our focus is going to be right here. You can see a point of control right here, and then this zone, previous all-time highs broken, retested. So this 64 20s 10s are going to be right around 6400s. Very important. I have gone ahead and pulled back my long-term volume profile. So as you can see right now, I have it hinging off of this candle. I used to have it right here, but you can see now, if price does come and break below here, then obviously we want to reference all this. I mean, we could even go as far back as like November 2023, but for now, I think just adding on this area right here, pretty much from November up to June of 2025 is going to be enough. And so I just pulled this back up to this big candle right here, and now we have right there. So now you can see very clear this larger bottom distribution. So this is the first area around the 64 20s. That's going to be the main level of interest. And then for the upside, well, we would want to see this get back above the 6600s, and then we can look to start turning this to support. If we go into the daily, we're now well below the 200 moving average. And we've now, this level we had, 66.35, was a very significant daily level. And then finally Friday, we cleanly broke through to 65.36, which is the next daily level off of this lows here. And you can see some big cuts in volumes as well right over there. So further down, 64.33 is going to be our next main area of daily levels, and 62.70, which was this previous consolidation, pre-breakout, fresh, untested level right over here. So two main levels, we're looking to the downside here and here, and then as I mentioned, to the upside, we want to get above 66.35 and start holding this area as support to look to come back to like the 6800s up there. Looking at the hourly with the weekly profiles, right here we have the week. I talked a lot about this level, 66.82, 67.19 when we were down here on Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, I wanted to see us reclaim above this level and start pushing up first to this swing level, and then we had all these weekly highs and our daily level, and also that was the top edge of this low volume node zone right over here. So in the end, you can see Thursday, Friday, we just started breaking down. We did have a nice push back up on Friday. So now, key areas here, we want to get back above the 6630s That would put us above the low of last week and this lows from Thursday. And then we want to turn this whole area right here into support from this side for a nice over under bullish pattern there. So again, get above 66.20s and start holding as support. First target 66.82, followed by 67.19. If we start breaking down further, if I go all the way back here to August of last year, we have, this is the daily level we talked about, 65.36, and then our hourly 64.83. Those would be the main levels if we break down. But overall, a nice close here with this pin bar and this push up on Friday. So let's see if we can start Asia with a move to the upside and get back above 66.20s would be the priority right now. Nasdaq, another very bearish close. We've had a clean pin bar, bearish hammer candle, close right through this long-term area of support resistance we've been tracking. Next obvious area right here, right into 23,500. Previous all-time high broken, retest. So now this zone is going to be our next main area of interest. Also, if I mark here, this swing high as well is going to be a very significant level. Last swing high pre-break before we continued up. So next two targets on the long term, we would have them right over there on the, let me adjust this level. So right there, I'm just going to take it off the daily, just leave it on the weekly because we do have a daily level right around that area. Same thing as yes, I've moved back my profile. You can see I now have it all the way back over here. So it's anchored to December 2nd, 2024. Before, I had my anchor right here on this breakout in July of last year, but now since we're coming here, if we start coming into this area, then I want to have all this confluence as well. You could even go, like I said, even further back, but I like to take large price rotations, and so this area right here was the last high before this significant low before the next rotation up. So that's why I'm using that anchor area. We are well below the 200 moving average now, and we have broken below 24,467. This is going to be the pivot level for me going into next week. So now, any push up, I want to see this reclaiming and then starting to accept back above these levels towards the higher targets, ultimately up into this high volume node edge, and then ideally get back in this area to keep pushing up. Okay, if we go on the hourly and we just let the weekly profiles load with Nasdaq, same scenario for Friday. I talked about 24,688. Very key hourly level right here. I wanted a strong close through and turn this whole area into support. Bottom of this node, bottom of this node, long-term low volume node support. So I want to see a strong close through here. But first, we have our daily level right here, 24,667. So again, it's just coming up and start flipping all these low volume node zones as support when we come back and test them from the upside. But the most important level we're tracking for me, 24,688. If we get back above here, I think we can have a really nice squeeze with first target 24,982 and then the high of the week on Wednesday right here. And downside, if I come all the way back here, you can see this is the next main level. Big daily level here, 23,783. Big bounces in August and September of last year. So if we do break down from the low we made on Friday, then look for a back test and coming to that daily level right there. Going into gold, strong weekly close through our long-term zone of support resistance. So now next risk is going to be this little swing low around the 43.20s, but then this is the most important area right above 4,000. This was the big pullback before we have the huge run up into all-time highs. Going on the daily chart, which I've also pulled back on gold. I used to have the gold chart anchored right over here on this breakout. I've now pushed it back to this area right here in October of 2025, because if we start breaking below 44.51, then we want to have all this area of confluence here for this profile below. So looking at the daily, 46.77 is now our main area that we want to get back above, followed by 48.68. To the downside, 44.51 is the next main daily level, which we got here on this huge spike back in February, and then below that 43.27. Let's go into the hourly to see this more clearly. So we never got up to this order block that I added on Thursday. Remember on Thursday when I made the analysis, I was looking for price to come back on Friday and retest this area right here into the bottom of this node for possible further downside. Or if we manage to get it back above 48.68 daily, then flip this to support and come back to 49.94, pretty much this whole consolidation of the beginning of the week before the breakdown. That didn't happen. We just pretty much started going down into the London session, and now we've put in same thing here. We now have another bearish order block that we established up here. So first area would be a pullback here. We also have a fair value gap that's not filled. So this is now the main resistance area. I'm looking for any pullbacks here. If we manage to break through this level above 47.23, then for me that will be a shift in market structure, and then we can start looking to long any pullbacks. But I'm not looking for any longs really until we have a strong clear close above 47.23. For now, for me, this is all just areas to come back for further rejections and continuation to the downside. If we zoom all the way out, you can see this daily level here. is this area right here. This low that we had in January, this spike low in February, and this large low volume node support. That is going to be our next daily level target, which we're just starting to test the low volume node zone, but this is ultimately 44.51 is the next target to the downside. And finishing off with Bitcoin, we are just over 1 day from closing this weekly candle. So far, we are strongly rejecting the 74,000 area, which has been a very strong resistance level that I've been following for a long time. So we've now back inside of this main low volume node area. So now 72,000 is our next big resistance zone. And then above that, the 74,400 area right here. Overall, we are still making higher lows and higher highs on the daily time frame in the last few weeks. So as long as we're holding above this low volume node zone at the bottom of this node, as long as we're holding above 65,000, we are still bulls can still have a chance to continue pushing any retracements back up, okay? But the absolute priority right now is a strong close through the 75,000s here. 4-hour chart. $69,179 has been a big hourly level last 2 weeks. So this is our immediate area of support. If we push up, 73,000 is our main area of resistance. We had all this supply before the breakdown on Wednesday. So if we do come back up here, I would expect resistance in these areas back there. Downside, if we have a strong break below 69,000, then we're looking at the next low volume node support area from the previous 2 weeks. And then this is our main area again of support. Lows from last 2 weeks. If we break below 69,000, then I will be looking for 67,500 and then 65,000. So ideally, what we want to see with bulls is get back above 73,000 and then reclaim above all this highs here at this daily level, 74,474 for our next hourly target areas to the upside. Hourly to finish off. So here to the upside, you can see this week we've made two very distinct distributions, one here and one here. So low volume node resistance would be our first area right here, 71,600. If we can get back above that, then 73,032, and then point of control daily level right in this middle areas. We are putting in what looks like a possible ascending triangle here. So if I actually bring this up here and draw another line, you can see right there, putting in something like that. Okay, So see if we can have a strong close here, flip this to support, come to the top edge of the node. We still expect resistance in these low volume node areas, but a breakthrough here could lead us to acceptance into the distribution above going into next week. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.